Am I the a-hole if I report the couples therapist that married my ex-boyfriend a year after our sessions with her? In 2017, I 25, female, saw a couples therapist with my then boyfriend 36, male. After 3 sessions with her, I refused to return due to her blatant flirtatious behavior and extremely judgmental attitude toward me, which my ex-boyfriend called me delusional for pointing out. She had told me that I seemed too immature, not ready for therapy or a serious relationship. The whole thing was focused on my ex-boyfriend and his complaints about me. She never asked about my feelings or perspective in the relationship. We broke up about 2 months after the sessions, but I stayed living with my ex-boyfriend until November. Once after I moved out, I had to return to our old apartment to get mail. This was in December, and that was the first time I saw the therapist with my ex. They happened to be getting ready to go out on his motorcycle, and were both wearing full-face motorcycle helmets. But I knew from her body type and hair that it was her, along with my instincts, which suspected something was going on the whole time. But nevertheless, I moved on with my life. I just found out yesterday my ex got married due to a friend telling me about a photo he posted on Facebook. The photo was of him and my ex-therapist celebrating their 1-year wedding anniversary. I found her Facebook with the name change, and sure enough, they got married September of 2018, or earlier. That's just when she posted the wedding photos. This was less than a year after the breakup with me ex, and barely over a year after our sessions with her ended. I'm considering filing a complaint with the American Counseling Association. My friends and mental health counselors I know say I have enough evidence. I'm not upset that my ex moved on. So have I. I thank the universe every day that I'm no longer with that narcissist. However, I feel deeply disturbed to find out he married our therapist, especially remembering all the harmful stuff she said to me in the sessions, which to be honest really messed with my head. I fear coming off as a bitter ex. Am I the a-hole? I believe that the American Counseling Association says that therapists cannot begin romantic relationships with former clients for at least 5 years. The American Psychological Association prohibits personal relationships for at least 2 years. It's unlikely that charges can be pressed, assuming they are to consenting adults, but she can get in trouble with her licensing board. Essentially, even when a relationship is allowed, therapists are still cautioned against this because it can bring harm to former clients. In this situation OP counts, so this would be something the board would be interested in hearing about, both because of the short timeline and the harm caused. Not the a-hole. Ordinarily, I'd suggest this is pretty petty, happens in relationships that go south, blah blah blah. However, in this instance, there's a very good chance that someone that you went to for counseling took advantage of your vulnerabilities and used them to manipulate you for her own gain. So I'd say go for it and report that shiz high and wide. That said, you know what kind of guy your ex is, and now she's stuck with him, so there's at least some justice in that. Thank you. Yes, like I said, if he married anyone else I literally would not care. Very happy to not be with him. My concern is her professional conduct. At the time, it was very rough for me to watch them flirt in those sessions and team up against me. Now, I see that they are perfect for each other, but she should not be a therapist. It's very rare to be presented with the opportunity to screw over your ex while doing the morally right thing. You have been given that opportunity, don't squander it. Not the a-hole. This is a major ethics breach and may betray a longer string of inappropriate behavior with clients. This is especially shocking as it's her job to help couples sort through their issues. If she has dated one client, she may have dated others, and that calls into question her ability to do her job. If she takes interest in a client who is still in a relationship, this isn't a scorned lover trying to get their ex fired from an unrelated job. Her sole job is trying to make relationships functional and healthy. How can she do that if she's shopping for her own dates? You're absolutely right. This has nothing to do with him. I don't care that he married her. I care that she seemed to taking a liking to him during the sessions and didn't help us at all. She would giggle at every stupid comment he would make. I flipped out about it and they both used it against me. See, this is how she is. She can't control her temper. My marriage counselor, that I later found out was having an affair with my then husband, would say things like, "Bill isn't ready to talk about that yet. Why are you pressuring him?" He'd then come home and cite the therapist's words to manipulate me into thinking there was something wrong with me. Yours needs to lose her license. Mine did. My marriage counselor and my now ex-husband pulled this shit. I reported her. She lost her license. She had also moved to our area to be closer to my then husband and had enrolled her kid in my kid's school. Yeah. Got her thrown out of there too. She said horrible things to me during the therapy. Some therapists need to find another line of work. Absolutely not the a-hole. Reporter. Good job. What kind of evidence did you have to provide? Letters between them. Back before email, I actually figured it out and started snooping after he asked me to make a pair of earrings for him to gift the therapist for her birthday. I'm a jeweler. I was absolutely gobsmacked that he thought that was something that would go by unnoticed and I would just merrily make my tormentor a pair of earrings at my expense. In that moment of clarity everything added up. I kept my mouth shut to him until after I had the hard proof. At that point I unleashed the bats of hell on them both. We were headed for divorce anyway. His dalliance with her just sped the blow. Yeah, we were going to break up regardless, no doubt. I'm glad we did. My problem is her conduct. It's just not right. It is more than not right. This is a mental health professional preying on a vulnerable client that has opened themselves up, placing deep emotional trust in these therapists. There are laws, moral codes and basic ethics that are supposed to protect us from harm. This therapist violated all of them blatantly. Therapists like these need to lose their licenses. It is too late for us, but reporting her and following through will certainly protect others. You're doing the right thing and reporting her. Please do. A similar thing happened to my mom's friend years ago. The abridged version is that her marriage was on the rocks. She went to a therapist to cope. The therapist had her bring in her husband. They were trying to save the marriage. Same kind of thing, where the therapist is weirdly taking the husband's side. Therapist has wife on a shit ton of antidepressants, then takes her off them suddenly. No weaning. This causes wife to go off the deep end. Like full on psychotic break. Divorce is back on. It comes out that the husband is now dating her therapist while she's still a patient. Wife reports her and tries unsuccessfully to sue her. It's been 25 years. The husband is still with the therapist. They have 3 sons and the therapist is at every life event. Husband's family is huge and wife only has her mother, so these events are hard for her. She's basically been pushed out of her own life. It's really sad. Not the a-hole. I'm literally going over ethics for therapists in my course, and I have my copy of ACA Code of Ethics on me. Definitely report her. Try to come up with a written timeline of events, including any of the behavior she had with you in sessions. This is grounds for malpractice. Super bad on her part. Are you sure she's a licensed therapist? I just can't imagine someone who has had to go through so much education being this dumb to not even cover themselves well. From a survivor of a sociopath, I've encountered so many different personality disordered people. They project precisely that belief that they've covered all their bases, and mainly because they need you to believe they're untouchable. The second you call it into question though, you find that their tower is built from well-painted twigs. It's likely that they believe that they are just too smart for you to have caught on at all, much less to know that there's something you can do about her having become a co-abuser. What she did is wrong and could have far-reaching consequences for you, and I'm not confident that she's done playing God with people's heads just because she got herself a husband. Most of the victims I've worked with since my own experience have been dealing with someone who has a personality disorder. You just tend to attract people with similar experiences, I guess. They always believe that they are too smart for their victims to even have a modicum, if power over the outcome. In most cases they are embarrassingly wrong. I remember being a kid and watching my mom completely broken after a session with her therapist. I found out from eavesdropping when she was speaking with my father that she had been told there was no treating her, she was a lost cause. She had clinical depression. What that therapist didn't care one bit about is how hard she fought it and how you'd never know in most cases that she had it because she managed it so well. But it took her quite a while to come back from that, and she was not okay during that period. I wish I remembered the name of the therapist. Knowing now what I didn't know as a child, I'd have reported her by now. Since my mother can't, she passed away. People like these should not have power over the mental well-being of a cucumber, much less vulnerable people. Get your ducks in a row, present what you have, and watch it burn. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more videos. See you all later.